right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Play ball. We're just hours away from the Cardinals' home opener, the Redbirds' high hopes as small businesses operate on a wing and a prayer.
So I'm opening on really nothing this year. Prayers, a lot of prayers.
It will rain tomorrow in St. Louis, but will it let up or break up enough to play baseball? The game day forecast and the latest update on the weather impact alert this weekend.
Our top story, a SWAT team called in to take an accused child sexual predator away in handcuffs.
We have a lot of concerns that there are additional victims that we just aren't aware of yet.
Tonight, disturbing allegations against a Jefferson County man suspected in multiple sex crimes against children. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
I'm Kelly Jackson. Police say so far 5 children have come forward. They fear there are more out there. Tonight, 5 on your side's Robert Townsend is hearing from investigators and neighbors.
Kelly and Mike, Christopher Moriarty is facing a long list of charges, including statutory rape, child molestation, and possession of child pornography. Now, the charges have left many of his Jefferson County neighbors shaking their heads.
Neighbors shared the stunning video. They say shortly after 6 Monday night, more than a half dozen law enforcement officers and SWAT team members descended on Christopher Moriarty's home. It's at the end of this cul-de-sac on Seckman Ridge Way in Imperial.
I look and there's a squad with armor and guns, and I instantly know that something severe has happened or happening. They started around the outside of the house taking photos, and then they went in.
Within moments, neighbor Cooper Zarnicki Ball says officers handcuffed a barefoot and shirtless Moriarty. The 43-year-old Jefferson County man is accused of committing sex crimes against children at his home.
He was pretty reclusive. Not everyone knew much about him.
Investigators say the 5 victims they have identified so far range from 12 to 14 years old. According to court papers, the crimes occurred between June 1st of 2024 and earlier this week.
The defendant was reaching out to these individuals through social media, which opens up a whole plethora of doors for additional victims. And he also lived very nearby a school.
Charging documents state Moriarty gave his victims alcohol and marijuana before trying to have them engage in sex with each other or him. The documents also reveal he recorded some of the acts. Neighbors say Moriarty lived here with his 3 young daughters and his girlfriend stayed here occasionally. No one answered the door when we stopped by.
They had moved their children into another vehicle to separate them.
So far, prosecutors charge Moriarty with 14 crimes, including enticement or attempted enticement of a child, sexual misconduct involving a child under 15, and endangering the welfare of a child.
I do hope that they get the proper care.
Moriarty is locked up without bond in the Jefferson County Jail. He's back in court next Wednesday. Parents who have information and need to contact police should call the St. Louis County Police Department at 314-615-5400.
Well, tonight, the Weather Impact Team is tracking overnight showers and a possible curveball for tomorrow's home opener at Busch Stadium.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here, and he's talking about not only opening day, but the threat of severe storms for the weekend.
Yeah, we still have our weather impact alert for mainly Sunday at this point, although there still will be some rain around the area on Saturday. And look what's happening to our north and west. Showers are beginning to develop up across parts of Iowa, and this unsettled zone sliding towards St. Louis. Through the overnight hours, our rain chances actually increase, and those rain chances will be with us first thing tomorrow morning. So we do expect rain around St. Louis for the morning rush hour. Coming down early to Busch Stadium, the chances go down. We can't guarantee it'll be dry, but the good news is the probabilities are a bit lower by the time we get to first pitch, about 3:15. There's still a chance, though, we'll see some showers, maybe even hear a rumble of thunder around St. Louis tomorrow afternoon. Not expecting any of that to be overly strong, but grab the rain gear if you're coming downtown. Our severe weather threat, well, there's a very low threat north of St. Louis tomorrow night for some hail. That's well north of St. Louis the way it looks right now. And then the bigger severe weather threat, but again, not like March 14th, is on Sunday. probably late morning into the afternoon. We will talk more about that. Take a look at what the latest guidance is showing us in just a few minutes, Mike.
And remember, you can always get weather updates, expanded forecasts anytime on the 5+ streaming app. And you can get that app for free and watch it on your Roku, Apple, or Fire TV.
90 days from now, the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department will be under state control. Today in Jefferson City, Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe signed House Bill 495 into law. Tomorrow, the governor will hold a ceremonial signing here in his hometown. 5 on Your Side's Holden Kurwicki looks into what changes we can expect on the streets of St. Louis.
Since taking office in January, Governor Mike Kehoe has made it clear that a state takeover of SLMPD was among his top legislative priorities.
We want St. Louis and the entire region to thrive.
Wednesday afternoon, he took another step towards accomplishing that goal by signing HB 495 into law.
It's a big win for public safety, and I think it's a big win for the future of our state.
While the move was praised by Republican lawmakers like Representative Brad Christ,
The days of defunding the police and decimating our cities are no more.
St. Louis Mayor Tashara Jones continued to push back against the state takeover, saying in part that, quote, "The residents of the city of St. Louis are safer today because my administration has made difficult and bold decisions that have resulted in a historic reduction in crime."
Praying that your loved one comes back, going into the city that's got number one for homicides per capita. It's a lot.
While it's still not clear exactly what will change for the department's rank and file,
Their job today, after this bill signs, is the same as it was yesterday. Nothing changes. They want to continue to work with their command staff and the folks within the police department to continue to keep Missouri's, St. Louis City's streets safe, and that's what they do a great job doing.
what's even murkier is how the state will measure the success of the takeover.
You don't need any other data other than to see the people that are fleeing the city. That has to stop. That's the data point that matters to our state and to our economy going forward.
Reporting in St. Louis, Holden Kurwicki, 5 on Your Side.
The state has 30 days to appoint someone to oversee the transition and 90 days to appoint the 5 voting members of the Board of Commissioners. That includes the St. Louis mayor and a 6th non-voting member. All must be confirmed by the state Senate.
Tonight, a St. Louis police officer is out of the hospital 9 days after he was critically injured in the line of duty. A large police escort, including motorcycles, a helicopter, and a long line of cars, took Officer Nathan Spees to a private location to continue his recovery. Spees left Barnes Jewish Hospital this morning. Doctors had to partially amputate his right leg after he was hit by a car while trying to arrest a suspect along I-70. St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy says Spees is in good spirits, and he calls him resilient.
You don't have to have rank to be a leader in policing or any job, but that kid is a leader by the way he's responding to such an awful incident and actually where he's at with that leg, and to come back and show us all what we can do and what we can overcome.
3 years ago, Officer Spees injured his left leg after being shot in the line of duty. A GoFundMe page has raised more than $130,000, and he's also receiving help from Backstoppers.
We're just hours away from an official holiday in St. Louis, the Cardinals home opener. You're taking a live look at Busch Stadium, where just hours ago, players took the field for a final preseason workout.
Yeah, and because it's just about to start the season, hope springs eternal for Cardinals Nation. It was an off-season with little to no moves by the front office. And sports director Frank Cusimano was at Busch Stadium today, where the team remains optimistic. Don't they, Frank?
I think so. Mike, it's season number 134 for the Cardinals, and tomorrow will be historical. It's the earliest they've ever started a season. It's a wonderful day with the Hall of Famers in their red jackets, and I don't think any club embraces the past as well as we do in St. Louis. However, Busch Stadium 3 has not been great for the club on opening day. The Birds are 3-5. The Minnesota Twins and Harrison Bader provide the opposition. They won one fewer game than the Cardinals last season. The Cardinals would have one more championship if the Twins wouldn't have beaten them in 1987. Nolan Arenado will be making his 12th consecutive opening day start at third, tops in baseball. The key to the season may be Jordan Walker. Can he become a force? And likewise for Victor Scott. Mason Wynn had a breakout season, but a brutal spring training, so he will bat at the bottom of the order.
I started the conversation and he stopped me and finished it as far as, hey, listen, I understand where we're headed here. And he was able to talk through how he's feeling offensively and where he's at and where he's headed in a way that just showed me that, man, he's continuing to mature. So to put it in simple terms, he is wanting to do whatever is best for the team at the moment. And we'll start off this way and go compete.
We will hear from the starting pitcher coming up in about 15 minutes.
And the party at Busch Stadium gets started in less than 12 hours from now. The official pep rally at Ballpark Village starts at 10:30 a.m. The gates of Busch Stadium open at noon, right before the Cardinals start batting practice. The iconic pre-game ceremonies featuring the Budweiser Clydesdales and the parade of Hall of Famers and players start at 2:30. First pitch is at 3:15.
There are signs of fan skepticism. Opening day is normally a sellout months out. We just checked the Cardinals website and there are still dozens of seats available. Cheapest we found was for $180, but much cheaper seats are available on secondary sites like StubHub. The lack of fan enthusiasm has many downtown businesses concerned. That includes outside vendors like the Hot Dog Lady. We've talked with Karen Boschert over the last 2 seasons as attendance at games has dropped dramatically. She operates 2 stands outside the ballpark and says she lost $40,000 last year because there just wasn't enough foot traffic.
I love being the hot dog lady and I want to be here for my customers, and I really feel it'll come back. I don't feel we're down and out, but I feel like the customers are trying to tell the stadium, the owners, we want a better team. We want to see what we're getting for our money.
Boschert operates 2 stands along A Street. She plans to sell hot dogs outside Stadium West Garage. She will only be selling peanuts at her stand across from the Stan Musial statue.
And with just hours to spare, Ballpark Village is making final preparations for fans. Crews are putting final touches on signs and lights as Cardinals Nation gets ready for tomorrow. The revamped menu at Cardinals Nation restaurant now features a mac and cheese bar, plus an all-you-can-eat and drink pregame party on the upper level. And don't miss local favorite Salt and Smoke, serving up its popular barbecue to kick off the season.
Baseball in St. Louis is just the most exciting time of the year, right? And so we have so much young talent on this team. We're excited about the season kicking off and bringing people down here and getting excited about St. Louis in the springtime, Cardinals baseball, barbecue. What else would you want?
And don't forget to stop by a new exhibit at the Cardinals Hall of Fame Museum. Growing Up Cardinals, you'll learn about the history of all things Cardinals, from the Bat Boys to the start of the beloved mascot Fred Bird, and how early generations of Cardinals fans attended the games. For all you need to know about tomorrow's home opener and the 2025 Cardinals, just text the word CARDS to 314-425-5355. We'll be happy to send you a link.
No pride in the hometown brew. The local bar leading a Bud boycott after the beer giant cut off the flow of funding. A tornado tip that could put you in the path of disaster. Tonight, our Verify team opens the window on a severe weather myth.
The greatest chance of strong to severe thunderstorms appears to be Sunday. We're updating that weather impact alert for the weekend and looking at the opportunities that some of the thunderstorms tomorrow night might produce some hail.
Tonight, we learned another member of President Donald Trump's cabinet is coming to St. Louis to get a first-hand look at nuclear waste dumping sites in the region.
Today, Missouri Senator Josh Hawley announced that Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has accepted his invitation to tour sites like Coldwater Creek and the Westlake landfill. Both were contaminated by radioactive waste from the development of the nuclear bomb during World War II. Just last week, Lee Zeldin, the head of the EPA, visited those sites. Hawley has been pushing for compensation for St. Louis residents sickened by exposure. That effort, though, has stalled in Congress.
Tonight, a gay bar in the Grove is no longer serving the hometown brew. Chad Fox, the owner of Rehab Bar and Grill, says the bar will stop selling all Anheuser-Busch products. He says it's an act of solidarity with the LGBTQ community. The boycott comes one day after Pride organizers announced the beer giant won't sponsor the event. Five on Your Side has reached out to Anheuser-Busch for comment. We've yet to hear back. A new home tonight for a popular St. Louis sandwich spot. The owner of Mom's Deli posted on social media today that they've secured a new location in the St. Louis Hills neighborhood. The old Dado's Cafe on Hampton near Eichelberger's where they'll be. Mom's Deli closed its old location on Jameson last month after nearly 50 years in business. Owner said their lease wasn't renewed.
After 5 years of renovation, the old courthouse, one of St. Louis's most iconic landmarks, is ready to welcome visitors once again. Built in 1839, this historic building has undergone a stunning transformation that preserves its architectural splendor. One of the most notable additions is a gallery devoted to Dred and Harriet Scott, who began their fight for freedom in this very building.
Which ended in one of the most infamous Supreme Court cases in our nation's history, a ruling that the Constitution did not extend American citizenship to black people regardless of whether they were enslaved or free.
There are 4 new interactive exhibits exploring civil rights, justice, and the legal system's role in shaping America.
We've issued weather impact alert days for this weekend. It's a reminder that when severe weather strikes, every second counts.
However, a common storm myth could be putting you in danger. Tonight, Ann Allred verifies if opening your windows can help minimize damage.
Funnel clouds churning in the sky are synonymous with spring storms, and the Verify team is clearing up a dangerous falsehood. We were asked, is it true opening the windows in your house before a tornado will reduce damage by balancing the pressure inside and outside the structure? Our sources, the Missouri Department of Public Safety and the National Weather Service. This myth started from the idea that low pressure from tornadoes causes buildings to explode as the tornado passes overhead. And while tornadoes are intense areas of low pressure, the pressure isn't the problem. Homes are damaged by the extremely strong winds in a tornado, exceeding 200 miles per hour in the most extreme cases. It's the force of the wind and debris slamming into buildings that destroys them. If you open your windows before a tornado, it could make things worse, allowing dangerous winds and blowing rain inside, increasing the risk for damage. We can verify false. Opening windows in your house before a tornado will not reduce damage. I'm Ann Allred, 5 on your side.
What can Ann verify for you? Let her know by email. The address is verify@ksdk.com.
Now let's turn it over to Weather Impact Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell. He's tracking that threat of severe storms this weekend and the chances of rain for tomorrow's home opener.
And you know, we do have the rain chances tomorrow. We have the rain chances this weekend. Our weather impact alert for the weekend days, specifically and more likely on Sunday. We haven't taken it down for Saturday yet. There still will be some rain around. And some of the guidance that we look at from St. Louis University and from Colorado State University, it kind of looks back and does some things that our brains can't do, still says there's a hail chance on Saturday. So we're going to leave it up for now. We may back off Saturday, but think Sunday afternoon is more likely the time for that. But it doesn't look anything like March 14th. This wide area will probably get narrowed down some as we see what the ingredients are and how they're going to interact with each other. Part of that's coming from the energy that's now pushing out of the Pacific into the West Coast. They've had severe thunderstorm watches in effect across parts of western Washington from around Seattle down to Portland today. Strong storms, they're not used to that there. We still have some moisture and a little southern portion of that energy will be sliding on in. Bottom line is we focus on the weekend here. Saturday, during the afternoon into the evening, especially south of St. Louis, we'll have an area of rain and maybe some thunderstorms. Could there be some hail in there? Possibly. It doesn't look like there's really much of a substantial severe weather threat on Saturday. We turn our attention, though, Saturday night into Sunday, back to the north and west. That front will be working in. We'll be watching ahead of it to see how much moisture, how much warmth gets in here, and what the upper level winds look like. Again, not looking at the ingredients that look anything like what we saw on March 14th, but still enough to where we might have some wind gusts, maybe 50 to 60 miles per hour, maybe some hail. And we can't completely rule out the tornado potential, but not the long track large tornadoes. All right, so that's mainly for Sunday as our big impact there. Then tomorrow, the impact's over at Busch Stadium. In the morning hours, we expect showers to be moving through St. Louis. So there's a pretty good chance morning rush hour is going to be a little bit damp. Then we tend to dry out a little bit. The focus is to the north of St. Louis. Look how close we are to that rain being around the metro area. It's actually on the north side of the metro area, maybe just east of the stadium. So that's why we're saying keep your rain gear around for tomorrow because, yes, there is that chance. While we think we'll get the game in, the chance is certainly there for showers to impact the game at some point. I think they will be able to play it, though, based on what we're seeing right now. 40s overnight tonight. It's 53 right now. Tomorrow, we're back close to 70 degrees. Largely going to be determined by if we can squeeze out a little bit of sunshine in there. And yes, the breeze picks up out of the south, maybe southeast early in the day. It will be a little gusty tomorrow afternoon, but more so on Friday. Still not to the level that we dealt with earlier in the month when we had those wind gusts 50 to 60 miles per hour outside of thunderstorms. We're not dealing with that. We will be looking, though, at warmer temperatures Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then we drop off again to start next week.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
The Blues are just expecting to win. The Cardinals would love to win on opening day, and you'll hear from one of the greatest winners of all time in professional wrestling.
And tomorrow, 5 on your side will be all Cardinals all day. You can get your live coverage from Busch Stadium and Ballpark Village on the 5 Plus streaming app. Watch for free on your Roku, Apple, or Fire TV.
You know what's interesting? The Cardinals spent the offseason talking about the reset and trying to get younger. And yet the opening day roster has no rookies. And get this, they only have one new player, too. Phil Maton, the man who will determine the happiness of St. Louis sports fans tomorrow, is the pitcher Sonny Gray. His spring training was troubling. His ERA skyrocketed as the velocity diminished. He also has been battling the flu. He said he felt fine today, though. Gray was a solid pitcher last season, no doubt about it. And he was reflective and appreciative this afternoon.
You definitely don't take him for granted. That's for sure. At least I don't. So I'm excited. It's just kind of like, you know, the start of another year, and you never know how much you're going to grow, how much you're going to learn, the ups and downs you're going to go through on the course of the year. It's a fresh start for everyone.
The major question in the hockey world is, when will the Blues lose another game? Take tomorrow. They've dropped Nashville like a bad habit lately. In a span of 6 days, they've beaten the Predators twice and outscored them 8-2. Can they beat them again 3 times in 10 days? We know they have been dominating at home, winning all 5 of their games at Enterprise during their 7-game winning streak. They left no doubt last night with 6 different goal scorers. As they hit the road for 2, the coach is impressed with how his team seems to expect to win each time out.
Well, I see a team that's getting more and more confident, and we see it in the way we practice. We see it in the way we walk into the room, or we get on a plane. It's good.
Game is over, and we think about the next game. You know, we're not enjoying too much. You know, the moment. We got a job to do, and we want to be in the playoffs. So just gotta do it every single night.
Normandy Golf Course was built in 1901, and in the summer of 2026, the renovated Jack Nicklaus design course is going to be real and spectacular. And tonight, something really nice. The Belnor community just wanted to make a contribution to help the project happen. The Friends of Normandy gave a check for $25 grand to the project. This group has been instrumental in the process.
Really the group that saved this golf course several years ago when a home builder had intended to try to buy it and put on some other kind of housing. And this group stood up against that zoning effort, and they've been a collaborative group for a long time and supported our efforts.
Sunday night is going to be a different kind of Sports Plus. It's rare that we get to sit down with a WWE Hall of Famer and a 16-time World Heavyweight Champion, but we will Sunday with arguably the greatest wrestler of all time, the Nature Boy Ric Flair. The 76-year-old came to St. Louis today to promote his new energy drink, fittingly called Woo. He had a career that lasted over 5 decades, and much was spent right here in St. Louis with wrestling at the Chase. He wrestled everybody, including Andre the Giant, who he remembered this way.
It was when he drank 106 beers, though.
True story?
True story. Downtowner, Independence Boulevard. And Frank Valois, his driver back then, drank 56.
106 beers in one day.
Oh my
Really?
goodness. He was great in Princess Bride, though.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And now we should say he was 7'5" and weighed about 500 pounds, but
Yeah.
still 106.
That sounds a little bit too much.
Don't try to.
No, it hosted the Dundies, and it's where Pam Beasley got drunk on margaritas, not 106 beers. The fictional restaurant becoming a reality 20 years later.
Chili's is going back in time in Scranton, Pennsylvania. The restaurant chain is opening a new retro location, paying homage to NBC's The Office.
It's designed to look just like the restaurant where Michael Scott held his Dundie Awards in 2005. Despite being a popular spot for the employees of Dunler Mifflin, who lived in Scranton, this is the first Chili's location in that area. It opens April 7th, 20 years after the iconic Dundies episode aired.
Great episode.
Yes.
Scott has a final check of the weather impact forecast.
Scranton.
Scranton.
Yes. Worked there for a couple
You
of
did
years.
work there, yeah.
Interesting. All right, so
But you never went to Chili's.
I did not go to Chili's.
They didn't
not
have
there.
one.
All right, so we got some showers tomorrow. Think we'll still get the game in. Weather impact alert for this weekend is mostly for Sunday. That's when we have a chance for the stronger storms. At least that's what it's looking like right now, especially Sunday afternoon. We'll continue to fine-tune the forecast, but let's get through this opening day tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.
We hope you'll start your day with Today in St. Louis. That starts at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.